Who was your roommate that was good at jujitsu?
Michael Davis.
Now, what was Michael Davis in the jujitsu world? Now that it's fast forward,
A blue belt.
he was a blue belt.
Yes.
Did he actively train whenever you guys were there? No,
Hadn't trained in years.
he just knew all that shit.
Yeah, and I'm sure he was rusty, but compared to someone who doesn't do it, he was
Yeah.
insane. I would be the same. You would feel the same way about me if you had never trained before. Now,
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, he's a wizard. And like in that world, you're not really, you're kind of on the lower end of the totem pole.
Yeah, I was thinking about you. You don't like telling people what to do, correct?
I hate it.
How do you do with the new guys when everyone's like, hey, whenever they're like, hey man, can you show me how to do that? You're just like, no. Fucking move on to somebody else.
No. You're not too far off. No, don't do that. That's just rude.
Because I was like, damn, dude, Gaige wouldn't teach me shit. He'd be like, oh man, I kind of do it this way, but you might want to ask coach. Like, you'd be the worst person, dude.
Yeah. You don't get. Here's what it's a comfort level thing. It's not that I don't care. It's I'm not going to hide. See, people think, and people think this at my gym sometimes. They act like I don't want to teach people things, which isn't really the case. It's like, I'm not going to hide it. If I know how to do something, I'll show you how I know how to do it. But it's just, it's like I don't know, sort of an insecurity thing where it's like, maybe I'm doing it wrong and like, I'm just waiting and like, I just don't want to be called out on it. But like, it works for me.
So you're like, worst case scenario is like you're showing somebody and then your coach comes by and goes, what the fuck are you telling him to do?
Correct.
Like,
yeah.
That's
or
like
you show someone something and then they do it. And then your coach is like, who on earth showed you that way?
Yeah.
Like,
that's
that guy over there, that's like, that's worst case. But, and it's also, once I get more familiar with people, I open up way more. I'd rather not have my interaction with someone I don't really know, where he's like, show me this. I'm like, bro, I got you. This is how you do it. And then like maybe something's a little wrong. And then it's like, well, man, that guy showed me something wrong. What, he obviously doesn't know what he's talking about, or he showed me something wrong on purpose, or I don't know. It's a mental thing. But once I know you, I'll be like, and I'm always open to, the thing is that you're always, there's 1,000 ways to skin a cat.
Mm-hmm.
You're if you can look up, there's a reason you can go to YouTube and type in Darce finishes, right? And there's going to be 1,000 different videos. They're not all going to be the same. I bet all those guys showing that video have a pretty good Darce choke, but like they either set it up a little bit differently, or they have a couple little tweaks that are a little different. There's not a right way or a wrong way necessarily. I mean, there's some things obviously that are like, no, don't do that. That's way wrong. But my version of how I do things is what works for me, and it might not work for someone else. And I'd rather not show someone something that doesn't work for them, and they either think I don't know what I'm talking about, or I told them something way wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Now there's a spectrum here, because there's an opposite end of that spectrum where there's fucking some blue belt who doesn't shut the hell up and wants to show everyone everything, and he isn't even very good.
Yeah, I see those memes.
And I don't want to, and I never want to come off as that guy. So it's a little bit of that too. It's like, I don't want to, even though I know I'm not that guy, I don't want to ever come off as that guy. So so that's where it becomes a little bit of a problem, because I overcorrect. So if I see someone doing something wrong, sometimes I'll just not tell them, because I'm like, nah, I really don't want to come off as the know-it-all guy.
Yeah.
Happy medium is a perfect world.
I saw a meme that was like, when the blue belt's trying to explain to me the submission I caught him in. Like,
that's the thing.
Yeah. Trying to talk me through the submission I have him in.
Never be that guy. Well, you won't have to worry about that for a while, but yeah, you never want to be that guy. Making excuses, that's the worst, dude. And it's fun that these people aren't like self-aware enough to know that that's a thing, because it is a thing. I've been, typically when you catch someone in something, you that's A. B, you typically know when someone's letting you work, which is fine, but you have to know that. Some people won't know that, and you'll hear him talking in the corner like of how he did really well against so and so, and then you might be like, wow, well, I know that guy would smash you, and if you had a good round against him, he was letting you work. As you get more and more experience in it, you know when people like, I know when I'm rolling with a black belt if he's letting me work or not. Because if he's not, he's gonna
Oh,
crush
I
you.
can tell too, dude.
Yeah. The problem
I'm
is
like, oh wow,
there's a
yeah.
white belt that I roll with a blue belt that will, let him do some stuff. I'm not saying I'm that guy. And I'm not saying that I've never been tapped by a white belt because it happens. But sometimes you're letting them work, and then you like to think they know that, but sometimes they don't, and they might tell their friends like, "Man, I rolled with this blue belt over here, and I tapped him twice, and he just had nothing for me." And it's like, well, maybe he was letting you do something. Maybe he wasn't. There's always that. A blue belt isn't an advanced belt. I mean, there are white belts better than blue belts for sure. But I forgot where I was going with this. No, yeah. I mean, I would show you everything in the world because I know you. I would show you everything because I wouldn't care if I showed you something wrong. And wrong is a tricky word because what I do obviously works for me. Doesn't mean I won't change it in the future. Doesn't mean, once you are a few years in, you've kind of seen everything, but there's like there's like little techniques and little steps and little adjustments that take years and years and years and years to figure out that will help all your moves. And you have like an aha moment where like I might have set my armbar up the same way for 4 years, and then I see this one teensy weensy little adjustment. I'm like, aha, that will fix a lot of my issues. So you'll have a lot of those. Like there's only, I mean, people say it's endless, right? But really there's only a handful of moves, and you just practice them for years and 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 get better at them. Like the closed guard armbar, right?
Yep, that's about it.
Cool. But that's a move
Mm-hmm.
You know that move, right? You know that move.
I know how to
You're
do
not
it.
going
Yeah.
to hit that on a black belt, but that black belt can hit that on you. The move is the same. The move is the same, and you know the move. The difference is he's practiced it forever. That's it. The move isn't any different. That's one of the most interesting things about it. You'd think if you watched a white belt tournament and a black belt tournament, you'd see a bunch of different moves. You see the exact same moves performed at a different level, at a more proficient level. You watch a white belt tournament, you're going to see arm bars. You're going to see rear naked chokes. At a black belt tournament, you're going to see arm bars and rear naked chokes. The moves are the same. They're just years and years of practice. But you'd think if you didn't know any better, like, okay, we're watching the white belts, they're going to be doing these moves. And as we go up, the moves will get trickier and more advanced. But that's not really the case for the most part.
I don't know, man. When I watch the like Instagram reels of all the like weird transitions, I'm like, what the fuck?
Well,
I don't know how much of that shit's real though. I'm like,
there you go.
I've never seen anybody do that.
You're onto it now. That's
Yeah.
the problem. And sometimes you have to try it to practice it, and sometimes you see it, and then you'd be like, that would never work because he would never let me. Your partner, as soon as you do this one thing, your partner would do this.
Yeah.
And then sometimes, I see. Here's what people don't know about me. For whatever reason, when I moved down here, I had a few people say like you're a flashy jiu-jitsu player, which I do not think I am. And I don't know if I call that an insult, but I don't think that's me. I feel like I'm the exact opposite. Like I am very fundamental stuff. Now I consider myself well-rounded. Like I have leg locks in my game, which I guess are a little flashy because they're not very old school. But I mean, triangles, arm bars, rear naked chokes, darces. Darces is not so much fun to know, I guess, but those are pretty basic moves that you can see at all levels. And like that's really what I do. But So those Instagram reels, typically, like those don't even. Most of the time, those are like those just irk me because they're exactly flashy. That's what they are. And I'm not into that. I'm not in like when we're doing something. If we do something in class, and this might blow your mind. If we're doing something in class like I've never seen before, I'm like, what is this? I'm uninterested usually because I'm like, this probably wouldn't work. This is something like way different that if I've never even seen it or felt it in a role before, it's probably not very common, which means it's probably not very proficient. I want to go to class and learn the close guard armbar, a move I've done a million times. But like that's those are the things I want to do. Why I don't, I guess because it's very high percentage. You see it every day. It works in live competition. Like those are the moves I want to practice slow and slow and slow, and ask a little question. Like I've always done it like this. So should I do it like this? Is there a little adjustment here? That's what I want to do. I want to go to a class and learn the Kimura. Maybe there's a little something I missed. Maybe drilling it will help me. I don't want to go to class and learn the flying wrist lock that someone saw on an Instagram reel because I'm like, well, what are the odds of that working in a roll? Probably not very high. You don't see it very often. What are the odds on a Kimura working in a roll? Very high. Happens constantly. Why not sharpen those moves that work at the absolute highest level? Not trying to give you a jiu-jitsu mindset. That's mine. You just got my jiu-jitsu mindset. I like the basic shit. I like the basic shit and getting extremely proficient at it. That's what I'm interested in.
Yeah, not doing flying arm triangles.
Nope. I don't like any of that shit.
Flying arm bars.
No, leg locks are the quote unquote flashiest thing or that I have in my game. I do have leg locks in my game, which is a very new school thing. But other than that, I mean, I like playing close guard, I like playing half guard. I like triangle is my absolute favorite move. Triangle is one of the oldest moves in the sport. It's one of the most basic moves. That's my favorite move. My next favorite move, probably the rear naked choke. I mean, that is the number one move in the sport. You could call it boring, you could call it basic, but I mean, it fucking wins fights constantly. So that's what I like to do.